Hey everyone, what's up? I'm the Californian. And today we are going to be teaching teaching a non-Californian Sam over here. By the way, I'm Brian. We're going to teach a non-Californian Sam over here how to speak like a Californian. How you doing, Sam?
Doing good. So after this, I should be able to walk around California with no problem. So
Exactly. Yeah, that's the goal here. All right. Let's start with the first word.
sure. So the first word I have here is Cali. Hopefully this isn't a trick, but I'm assuming it's just short for the entire state of California.
That's correct. That's correct. But there is a little bit of a trick to this word. And the trick is that nobody from California ever says that word.
Gotcha.
I didn't know that word really even existed until I got to college. And the first couple of days you meet people and you say where you're from or you're wearing a name tag and they're like, oh, you're from Cali. And I had no idea that anyone would ever refer to the state that way. So it's an easy way to spot a non-local when you see somebody.
Awesome. Well,
Okay, let's move on to the next one.
Yeah.
Kind of.
So this one's a bit of a mouthful if I'm reading this properly. It's the 5, the 101, the 1v5, 101, 1.
Yeah, so what it's really saying is, okay, it's the phrasing of the 5, the 101, the 1 versus 5, 101, 1. Do you know what that's talking about?
Gotcha. Okay, so looking at that, I'm just going to assume highways
Yeah,
or roads.
you're right. But the key here is where you are in California and how that impacts how you describe the highways and freeways. By the way, we call them freeways in California.
Okay.
Highways. I guess actually not true. They call it Highway 101 in Northern California, but mostly we call it freeways. But the key here is in Southern California, you always say the before the freeway. You always say the 5, the 101. Whereas in Northern California, they would say you take 101 north to such and such exit, and you never would say the when you're up in Northern California. It's a weird thing.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's move on to the next one.
Anyway, I don't know where that changes. Like, there's another big debate here that would be a whole other 20-minute episode of what defines Northern California. As you and I have discussed a number of times historically for Only in Your State, where we have a Northern California page and a Southern California page. We don't have a Central California page. Nobody really knows the actual definition of what Northern and Central is. And then the people in very northern part of California in Redding don't consider Northern California like San Francisco or Sonoma to be Northern California. It's a whole thing. I grew up in Northern California in the Bay Area. I consider it the Northern California, but somebody from way up north like Eureka would not.
All right. More complex than I assumed.
You wouldn't, yeah. All right,
Awesome.
let's go to the next one.
Will do. So I have another guess, but so this one is the California stop. This is an entire guess on my end, but I'm going to say the pier where Route 66 ends.
No. Good guess. The California stop is it's how we describe how someone is stopping at a stop sign, and it's like, I'm sure you do it where you are. I'm sure they do it across the country, but it's basically slowing down to a very kind of like a crawl instead of a full stop, and then continuing on.
Oh, awesome. We call that a rolling stop. So yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
So far, you're doing good.
Awesome.
I like the next one. I don't know if you guys have this where you are, but let's hear it. Do you know what this one is?
The city.
Oh, I was thinking. I was jumping ahead. I forgot.
Oh,
this
no worries. Yeah.
The city. Yeah.
So the city. I'm just going to assume Los Angeles being the largest city in that state.
Yeah. I don't know why this one was included. I think this is an interesting one even for me because I grew up in the Bay Area near the city, and we definitely would have referred to it as, hey, I'm going into the city. And it's always like, no matter where you are in like a very large radius of San Francisco, it's the city. And we definitely do not call, I guess this does make sense. And we definitely here in Southern California I live in LA, I do not refer to Los Angeles like downtown as the city, like or any part of LA as the city. So I think this is actually correct. The city is just another catch-all term for San Francisco, and it's never called Frisco. As another addendum to that.
All right, so it's actually San Francisco then as the city.
Yeah, specifically.
Okay. Gotcha.
So this is the one I jumped ahead of a second ago. Do you know what June gloom is?
Man, so I want to assume seasonal depression, but with the sunny weather out there, I'm not sure that's correct.
It's halfway correct. So we have a thing that most people don't really understand in the month of June, both in Southern and Northern California, which is that you assume it's going to be gorgeous and warm, and you see these tourists at like Pier 39 in San Francisco wearing shorts and a t-shirt in the middle of June, when in fact June has been a very cold month for us recently, especially recently. This June in LA was mostly gray, cold, lots of there were morning rain days. So it is both like the gloominess of the weather, and then everybody's very depressed because your kids are out of school and it's summer and it's supposed to be beautiful. The rest of the country's baking and making barbecue, and we are stuck inside freezing cold.
That'll definitely change some of my travel plans if I ever come out there.
Yeah. All right, so this next one is a pronunciation question of a couple words. Let's hear you pronounce these two words.
All right.
These two
yes. So then Monterey and Huntington Beach.
You actually nailed them, because the lesson here is that we kind of, with our lazy Southern California drawl, we don't pronounce the T's in a lot of stuff. So we would never say like Monterey or Huntington Beach. It's like Monterey, Huntington. It's not quite Huntington, but it's like Huntington. You might pronounce the second T, I guess. Huntington. Yeah.
Okay. And then the Valley.
The Valley.
Is the next one.
Yeah. What do you think of that word, the Valley? What is that mean?
So I've heard of people refer to the Valley, and admittedly, I'm actually still kind of clueless to what exactly they're referring to. Yeah. I'm going to assume like Malibu. Is that?
It's
no.
So the Valley is an actual geographical area that is the other side of these hills in Los Angeles. So like Los Angeles, which includes Beverly Hills, Malibu, Hollywood, West Hollywood, downtown, there are these hills that kind of encapsulate that whole area. And if you go over those hills, you're in the San Fernando Valley. And the San Fernando Valley colloquially is referred to as the Valley, and it includes places like Sherman Oaks, Valley Village, Tarzana. There's a bunch of cities over there that are filled with people, and in the 80s, there was like the Valley Girl persona was kind of born there, like kind of like a, oh my God, like kind of thing.
Right.
The place, the San Fernando Valley.
So then am I wrong to assume that I would hear that kind of talk in Malibu then, or?
You wouldn't. So Malibu is not part of the Valley.
Okay.
Because
my bad, totally.
So these mountains that I'm referring to, they go like all the way like if you were to take a map, you start way over here, it would be like downtown, then Hollywood, then West Hollywood, Beverly Hills, and these mountains kind of wrap all the way up the coast, in Malibu being on the coastal side. So if you were to just take a drone from the beach in Malibu, and 20 minutes later you'd be going over a hill, and on the other side you'd be in the valley.
Gotcha. Okay.
Next.
All right.
Come on, man. You must know this one.
So this is the double or animal style. So I was assuming these were surf terms.
No. Have you ever eaten an In-N-Out burger?
No, we actually don't even have an In-N-Out burger in Ohio.
I know. I think that's part of the problem. I think there's an In-N-Out in Denver now. There's definitely one in Las Vegas. There's like only a handful outside of California. But so when you order food at In-N-Out, double is not part of the secret menu. but animal style is part of the secret menu. So double, it just means like, I just don't even know what it technically means. I think it means just like 2 patties.
Okay.
The animal style is not on the menu. So you can order it and be like, hey, I want my double animal style. And what that means is you get your fries or your burger with caramelized onions and cheese and pickles on top. I think. So you can get fries, basically an order of fries with like melted cheese and pickles and onions on top.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Where you thought it was simple, I'm absolutely stumped.
So this next one, I'll admit, I had never heard it before. So,
all right,
I'm in the same boat here.
So after that last one, I may be wrong on this as well. But so I was looking at Thrifty Ice Cream. I was just assuming maybe that's a popular place or brand, Thrifty, to get ice cream.
All right, so I have to refer to the cheat sheet notes here because I've never heard of this, but apparently this started in Southern California. You can find it within Rite Aid pharmacies. And they started just recently being sold at Rite Aids in states outside of California. Apparently it's a type of ice cream. And you can also find it in grocery stores. Never heard of it.
Is it? Do you have any idea what it looks like or anything like that? Like, is it an ice cream bar or no? Okay.
Let me just do a little quick.
Yeah, I'll have to look that up.
The ice cream, and it's like, yeah, it's sold in boxes. I mean, it's sold in cones. I've never heard of this before though, so
okay. So wait, is Thrifty the brand then?
Yeah, I think so.
I think I'm right then.
But yeah, I think you got it.
I think I get that point.
Cool. Okay, good. Okay, let's do number 10.
Yeah. So Grad Night. I'm not familiar, so I'm just assuming everyone graduates around the same time, and it's like almost like prom night or something, where it's normal to see parties happening for graduation.
Yeah, I'll say I was a little confused by this one too. I've never heard of this in the way it's described in the notes. It's apparently a tradition where a large group of schools go to Disneyland in May or June for the day, and then they stay very late into the night, and it's always in your senior year, and the park is closed off to the public.
Okay.
You are?
Well, I've heard of people doing like, an amusement park as part of their graduation. I just didn't know like the park would close to the public and that, so.
Sounds fun. I never heard of that either. Oh, I guess it's too late. Right. Okay, we're getting close to time, so let's cruise through these last couple. Hit me up.
This next one I think I know.
Yeah.
So no, yeah, no. I think it's the second part of the phrase that actually is the meaning. So when you're saying no, yeah, you actually mean yes. When you're saying yeah, no, you mean no.
Boom. Nailed it.
Awesome. All right. And then from there, I'm going to go to the Grapevine.
Yeah.
So as a phrase, I just assume that's a game of telephone. But as far as California is concerned, maybe it's about some of the vineyards out there.
It's a good guess. The answer is actually that there's a part of the 5 freeway, which is the 5 freeway is as you can see, I just said the 5, and I called it 3. The 5 freeway goes all the way up and down California in the center of California, and it's what you would take if you're trying to get from LA to San Francisco. In about an hour after leaving most areas in Los Angeles, start going uphill very steep. And at that point, the road comes downhill like this. It looks like a grapevine. So it's literally a road, and it always gets closed with just a little bit of snow because some truck skids off of it, and that causes all sorts of havoc because your Amazon packages can't go from Northern to Southern California. It's like the main artery between Northern and Southern California.
And that's
have to go through the grapevine.
That's the 5 that actually creates that grapevine, or that's off the 5?
It's literally the 5 for like 20 minutes becomes this. And if it was just a straight road, it would take you 30 seconds to drive through going 80 miles an hour. But because it's so steep up and down and in bad weather, it could take you hours. So there's these like winter reports about like the 5 is closed at the grapevine, and the grapevine, the trucks are in the slow lane. And when you do drive it, it's actually really fun because you see all these trucks going very, very slow. And then as you're coming downhill, there's a downhill on both sides, obviously. And there are these truck like out of control brakes broken truck pullout things where every 20 or 30 yards where a truck could just drive off, and it's like just gravel patches that would catch the truck if its brakes ran out. Which I don't know how often that's happened where they decided to put those there, but I've always wanted to see what it.
I've actually seen a few of those pull-offs over near Pittsburgh.
Oh, cool. Nice.
Yeah. Also very hilly. But
Pittsburgh, yeah, I guess, yeah, Pittsburgh is. Pennsylvania, no, but Pittsburgh is very, very hilly.
But all right, so this next one, Santa Ana's. I feel a little bit confident in this one with I know the area of Santa Monica, and so I'm assuming this is like surrounding areas that have about the same name sounding.
No. The Santa Anas are wind. It's famous
hubris.
Wind that, yeah, it's this weird thing where from like October to January, there can be these nights where you have these warm winds going throughout town, throughout wherever you are, and made famous by the Kate Winslet, Cameron Diaz movie, The Holiday. If you've ever seen that movie, and if you haven't, you should watch it at Christmas. But the Santa Anas are like this weird thing where every Californian has to go outside when they're happening and say, "Oh wow, Santa Anas are really blowing right now." And okay, we'll do the last one. We'll end on the last one. But there's one on here that didn't get added, and because I just thought of it. Another local thing that everyone in California does is when it rains and you're talking to somebody and you're texting and you're on the phone or you're just in person, every single person has to say, "Oh, well, we needed it." And it's like, without fail, someone will be like, "Well, we needed it." So anyways. All right, let's finish this up. Last one.
All right, the big one, and 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 all right, the